today. Welcome back to a new episode of Inside Fanatics Brush. I am your host, Matt Scott. Thank you for joining me today once more as we go over the action from 2 weeks ago, since we're finally entering the group stage. So we're getting into that second part of the split, and therefore players get a bit more of a break. New patch is going to come in 13.13, which is also going to mean a few changes into the drafts, into the champion pools, and on the priorities of the lanes. But first, let's go over what happened on the final week of the regular split. Week 3, we have our top 8 locked for the LEC. Fnatic ending with a very comfortable 7-2 finish. Obviously, we'll go over some of the struggles they've had in their last 3 games and predictions for the group stage. Again, thank you for taking the time to vote. I think I had some of the record votes on the group stage, which isn't always easy to set up, because there's the winners finals, which needs you to guess who out of the 2 previous matches is going to win and make it to that stage. So thank you for voting and participating in those predictions. We'll cover that part at the end. For now, let's jump into our LEC, the top 8. As you can see, all the teams have been locked into their respective positions, with G2 and Fnatic making top 2, Excel and Team Heretics, which I think for many were the biggest surprises here in making not only groups but placing so high into the league. Now, is that a reflection of how poor the league is, or how bot lane priority has kind of dictated the meta and helped teams with the strongest bot lanes or the strongest bot lane plays to get to the top? Could be you're looking at Excel, you're looking at Heretics. You've got Patrick, who's always been a very good ADC across his career. You have Flacket, who's gone back to form since his time in the LVP and is playing much better now that he's back in the LEC. BDS and SK Gaming, of course, BDS kind of stumbled. They had issues with Adam and his teeth surgery, some struggles as well in sort of gaining back their form that they had at the end of spring split. That seems to have slightly come back towards week 3 within their final games, but they're definitely not to the level that they've shown us prior. Definitely. Same could be said with SK. BDS and SK were really those 2 teams with not a lot of really superstars in them, but with strong synergy, strong team play, and with players that really stood out that could have maybe looked over in maybe other years, and coming from the ARLs, people didn't put much thought into it, but they actually managed to pull out from the usual teams with their bigger names and actually make it to the top. Bit more complicated here this summer for them, as they find themselves middle of the table, which is still fine, but obviously throughout a season you're looking to improve across each split, and it seems that for these teams they've sort of hit a plateau and kind of went under a little bit. So we'll see what they'll be able to provide in the group stage, but still what counts here, obviously, is securing that top 8, which they've done very well. Another surprise here definitely is the bottom 2 that qualified, Mad Lions and Koi. Now, Koi obviously did lose Trimby, which was a big part. Traded in with Advien. A lot of people obviously said it was a downgrade. A lot of discussion around this where you can say, well, it might be a downgrade in terms of maybe the mechanical side or the way they play the map. When you change a player within a team, it doesn't mean that he's going to have the same level that he had in his previous team. Sometimes it can be better, sometimes it can be worse, but a change in atmosphere, a change in sort of player synergy can really, swing a team from one way to another. So I'm not really in favor of people saying, oh, well, it's immediately a downgrade without taking into consideration all the other factors of what makes a team, really. With that said, I still think that Koi would have placed more into the 5th, 6th than rather just scraping that final 8th spot for them. Disappointing when they have players like Comp and Larson, who were considered some of the best in their individual roles, at least last season. I think Larson is the only constant where there's a big debate of who's the better mid laner between Humanoid, Caps, and him, and it seems to really swing around depending on the season, the split that each of these players have. So yeah, 8th place for them, just made it barely. Mad Lions, I think, is even a bigger shocker. You would think that coming back from MSI, usually teams that come back from an international event learned so much from that experience that they try to transition it into their local league and gain an advantage from facing the top Asian teams and getting punished for stuff that maybe they weren't getting punished in their regional leagues. So that's what G2 did, and that's what Dylan Falco shared during an interview, where it's like, we took the learnings from MSI and we transferred them into LEC, into hitting that first place, but also having a very dominant play style where right now they're clearly looking like the favorites. Mad Lions, I can't know exactly what's happening with them, but they haven't showcased that. That's something we can say for sure. So Mad Lions 7th. Is it a meta issue? Is it team issue? Hard to say. With group stage coming in, we've seen last split that Mad Lions is able to switch things around and really turn up the volume when it comes to those best of threes. So there is a chance that we see a better version of Mad Lions coming into groups, especially when you consider that tanky engaged supports are coming back into the meta. We're going to see more Nautilus, we're going to see more Rel, which are really champions that fit Helisang's playstyle. So that might be one of the factors that bring them back in. And again, within a best of 3 format, I think Mad Lions are maybe the smarter team when it comes to it, a bit more flexibility in their draft and able to play a different style. So we will see what version of Mad Lions we'll get. With that said, we'll have to go through our usual top and flop teams. Starting with the top of the top is G2. As much as this is a Fnatic focused podcast, you have to admit that G2 really looks like the top contender here to win the split. The mistakes that they've shown in week 2, where they looked a bit weaker and like there was a slight breach in the armor. Seemed to at least not show as much in the final week, where I was potentially expecting them to get jumped by some of the teams that they were facing. Excel, Team Heretics, that have shown a bit of a better early game than others, where G2 really falters here, where they really have that issue of capitalizing on that aspect. So not really the case for them right now. They've shown a much stronger profile on that week 3, and they've clearly secured that first place for them. SK being the second team on our top list today might surprise some people, because I've just said that they were struggling right now, that they secured a 6th place, and when they were doing much better in the previous split. The only reason why I'm putting them there is because of the recent form they've shown, where it looked really doom and gloom, like they were really struggling to actually potentially secure the top 8. A lot of people who were sort of trying to predict who are going to be the 2 teams to not make it had SK in their list, with obviously Vitality, which really struggled this season. Well, more this split, I should say. And obviously going 2-1 with much better showing, I would say, overall than their first 2 weeks. So are they on the up and coming? Are they on the upward trend? Again, it's like best of 1s, best of 3s. How do you evaluate that? They've not shown that sort of change in performance when going into the best of 3s, at least in the previous split, especially the spring one, where I believe they got eliminated within group stage. So could be a recent change in form. Is the new patch gonna fit them? Hard to say, but I think it's still important to highlight their performance here in their final week, just scratching their qualification, obviously by beating Fnatic on their final day, where it was either them beating Fnatic and qualify them, or Fnatic beating SK and going into a final best of 1 tiebreaker to decide who was going to make it into top 8. So SK here really taking their qualification by the hand and doing it themselves. Improvement is being shown. Will it be enough into group stage? That we'll see that this weekend. Yeah. Now, onto our flop of the week. We have obviously Vitality, which bless me, sorry guys. Vitality, which I think is the biggest disappointment in terms of performance. When you look at the name on the paper, I think I've probably said this the past 3 weeks as well, but only scoring a single win out of the 9 games, when you have the players that you have, and when you've had a 3rd place finish on the previous split, you really have to ask yourself what's going on within the structure. It does feel like Bo was really out of it, both in the way he was playing and his demeanor, like online and on camera, I would say. Now, I'm not going to speculate saying this or that is happening, or if that's really the case that he's really out of it, but the body language and the way he was playing really felt like that. Vitality owner will buy the full JD. I mean, it's you have to think, are they gonna finally learn the lesson of putting big names on a roster doesn't equal trophies, you know? So many cases of super teams not working out, and we're seeing the same mistake over and over and over again. And you know, there's been the argument of like, oh, it's not a super team, but you look at what's behind each name. You have Kaiser, two-time LEC champion, multiple-time Worlds participant. You have Upset, who has been considered the best ADC for the past few years, despite not lifting silverware. He has a title, which is of being one of the top ADCs, if not the best ADC. Perks, some people consider him the Western GOAT because of all the trophies he's acquired, the fact that he's won both in LEC and LCS, making MSI winner, making it to Worlds Finals. There's a lot of silverware for him to back that title. You have Bo, who was touted as this monster going in. That he was just gonna wipe the floor with every jungle that he was gonna face. And then you have Photon, which kind of the same was like, oh, this really promising top laner who's just gonna diff everyone because he has that Asian style of playing and he's a very good laner, yada yada yada. It's probably the only player who was doing well on this team, the only player who is consistent. Well, one of the most shocking parts, I would say, on their final games was, especially against BDS, was Upset going for weird flashes just to chase Adam, and then to lose the final team fight because he didn't have flash available. He was playing a Fearless as well, which is a highly low mobility champion, and you want to lose a summoner like Flash? What, to chase one guy? And not even like, I would understand if you use Flash if you were gonna end the game, but if you're just using Flash and you're like, well, we can end the game, but there's like maybe an objective to get for that team fight, why are you going for Flash? Why are you going for Flash? There's still a team fight, and when you're facing a team that has multiple engage spells against you, and you don't have the craziest front line to just tank for you, I don't know. Was it pettiness? Was it personal grudge against Perks? Against Perks. What am I saying? Against Adam? No idea. But that's them losing a lot of points. Now, obviously they made top 3, so I think they have 130 points, which still puts them in a, I'd say, rather favorable position to make the final sort of LEC final stage with the top 6. But yeah, it's hard to tell how they're going to change this. And obviously, I didn't mention it, but Douglas coming from Academy, getting put into that rough position of, hey dude, you better save our split here and get us a group qualification. Rough times. He wasn't doing too bad, but that's not gonna fix the team. So are they gonna bring back, or are they gonna keep Bo if they ever make it into that final stage? Are they gonna fully switch to Douglas? I don't know. There's still a few weeks to come before we get to that stage, but Vitality, crisis situation, definitely. Our other flop obviously is Astralis, which is, again, it's a bit the same of like a bit of an underdog team, which like I appreciate underdog stories, but it's the same. Is that they did well. Spring split is amazing considering that the players that they have a bit of like a group of misfits, and they weren't able to carry that into the summer split. I guess it came down to one game, which was the SK Fnatic one. At the end of the day, you still have to qualify by yourself, right? So it sucks for them. They, in my opinion, I think Finn probably was one of the strongest player there, along with Kobe. It was a good resurrection for Finn. I always felt like Finn was severely underrated because of his time on CLG, and also the sort of continuous meme that any team he goes to, he gets replaced by Odoamne. So he goes to Rogue, Odoamne comes in. He goes to Excel, Odoamne comes in. So yeah, I think he did showcase some of his potential. Not sure what will happen to him next season. There's obviously, discussions about what's the name? Astralis looking to sell their spot once again. The price is pretty high, so I'm not sure who will be able to fork out that kind of money, but yeah, the spot is available again, so we'll see who actually wants to go for it. But yeah, 113 is not him. It's he's a very inconsistent player. I also think that he was thrown into the LEC too early. He had a somewhat good season on KC. I think he needed at least another season in ERL to really gauge his potential. If you were gonna ask me, like, I think that 113 will potentially be sent back to the ERL. I don't know, unless they decide to keep him, but like it's hard to say, right? You're looking at an organization who's really trying to get out of the LEC, and if no one is willing to pay what's on the price tag, what are you gonna do? So you're forced to stay, and then what? It's like, well, really trying to get out. We're gonna field yet another maybe low budget roster. Like, Astralis is actually very lucky to have the performance they had in spring, because of people, I'd say, underestimating Finn and him proving that he's actually worth more than what people are willing to give him. Litter, I think, overperformed as well, and was lucky that some of his champions fit really well into the current meta somehow, and he was able to have the space to to execute them. Also, it's like you have these good elements with like Finn and Kobe as well, who are like good pillar players where you can rely on them on not shitting the bed and have that consistency. They're not necessarily gonna always pop off, but very rarely are they gonna have really, really poor performances where like these guys need to get benched ASAP. So, definitely overperformance from Astralis, I'd say, in this split in general. Cut short, obviously, by not making it to groups this time. So for them, the season's done. It's about seeing what's next. Is the spot being sold? Will it be sold? Who's gonna buy it? Who will be the player staying? Yada yada yada. We'll see that for the end of 2023. But yeah, top teams won't sign him. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, I don't know. If I were Peter Dunn, I would have gotten Finn. You know, if you want to go for Evi because you liked him that 1 year in 2017 where he was popping off against Western teams, just get Finn, mate. Just get Finn. You know, I think he would fit super well. So I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. But yeah, final flop team for week 3 is undoubtedly Mad Lions having a shocker of a second half of the regular split. Started 4-0, went 0-5 after Fnatic faced them, so I don't know if Fnatic broke them, but their games are so scrappy, and it feels like everyone's trying to make a sort of hero play to come back in. And again, the mistakes they were doing in MSI haven't been fixed, and like I said at the beginning, it doesn't feel like they've learned anything from that tournament. And the sort of team play and synergy that we saw during Spring Split, which allowed them to sort of reverse sweep, seems to have gone completely out the window. So I don't know if it's because, well, there's some more of a mage meta, so Hylissang is not really finding his pacing, but it's a team game. It's a team game. So mistakes are coming about from all over the place. Niski is struggling to perform on the meta champs and is always having to go back to his Gragas to sort of try to bail out his team, but even then he's not performing well. Elyoya isn't... His plays aren't as crisp as they usually are. Like, Elyoya has always been rated as this jungler who, you know, super smart, reads the enemy jungler's pathing, knows where to be at the exact time, always gonna counter jungle, blah blah. Doesn't seem to be happening this time, so quite surprising indeed to see Mad Lions struggling so much towards the split, towards the second half of the regular split, sorry. But again, as group stage come in, new meta, engage bot lane meta, well, support meta, best of threes, there's a chance that we might see something similar to Spring, where they suddenly find their form again, they're in a meta that fits them a bit more, and they start winning games again. So yeah, that's gonna be my review for the LEC. We'll just quickly have a look at the group stage, what is happening here. There we go. Group stage, we have Group A with BDS versus Team Heretics, Koi versus G2. Group B with Mad Lions, XL, SK versus Fnatic. I'd say roughly these teams are, you know, somewhat well balanced. Or maybe no, actually, I'm looking at it a bit more. It's hard to tell. I'm gonna say Fnatic maybe has an easier group here. Again, depending on what profile of Mad Lions we're gonna see showing up. But yeah, I think BDS, Heretics, G2, much stronger team in general here. So probably looking at a rougher Group A than Group B. But we'll cover that obviously in the predictions a bit later. But first, let's have a talk about Fnatic. Fnatic going 2-1 this week and having some really scrappy games. You know, where they really control the early game super well. They start getting 2, 3, 4k gold advantage. Then they decide to make some weird play in the mid game, allows the enemy team to come back, and they have to fight for their lives to close out the game. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of cracks in the gameplay. For those who've watched Legends in action, that's what Nightshare was saying, where the early game is super clean, and when it comes to the mid game, we don't know how to play properly anymore. Everyone's trying to make their plays and do things, and we make silly mistakes. And the problem is like when you get such a strong early game, making even small mistakes gives comeback gold, and shut down to the opponent. And within a professional environment, pros are able to capitalize on that and actually come back into the game much better than, obviously, how do you call it? Regular solo queue, basically. So, if we have a quick look into their games of this week, starting with their game versus BDS, strong draft from the get-go. We have Razork on his Viego to really enable that early game strength. We've got we managed to get Yumi while Milio is being banned, so one of the strongest supports here. Great with Syndra as well to prevent any bullshittery of Poppy going in or Azir. And same with Gragas, who's very good into Olaf to keep him at bay and avoid getting completely destroyed. So good answers here, and the early game overall gets very well played from the start. Let me find, I lost my my bookmarks, but I know there's a first blood top lane. Oh, we've passed it again. Where is this? Around here. It's here, isn't it? So Oscar again, playing super well. This split, sets up the wave super well, as you can see. Comes forward, forces Adam back to sort of heal up a little bit and try to catch some stuff. So that gives Oscar the advantage on the lane here to shove that wave in and have Razork come in. So Adam is 6, but Oscar just combos him super well. Boom, belly bop him, bomba, boom, boom, boom. Adam doesn't. Well, actually, his sorry, I forgot his ult was on cooldown. But so it's actually even better timed because they managed to get him before that. From that point onwards, they try to cheese humanoid again, scatter the weak. Very well played. Then I think it's this moment where they try to cheese Noah with the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is super annoying. Good stun here by Crowny. Uppercut, but like the moment this happens, they don't have the follow-up damage. TP is good. Good stun here by Noah. Oscar falls up. Boom. Bit of an overkill with the ult, but that's fine. And that's it. And from that point onward, like everything that BDS is trying to do is just failing, and Fnatic is just getting more and more advantage over the map, starting to get Drakes. Is it around? Wait. Yeah, they try to collapse on Oscar. Oscar gets out. It gets traded into a kill for Razork, who goes absolutely bonkers. Just misses the hook. Nice little dash here from Crowny. Crowny just making quite a lot of mistakes here. Has to burn double sums, which, you know, allows obviously Noah, who's getting pushed under turret because of the friggin' Blitzcrank, and when you have a Yumi, it's kind of hard to do anything. Just gives him a lot of space to farm, get tower gold, and sort of reduce the gap here. And everything is going super well. As I mentioned, 3k gold in the early game. It's 15, 16, 17 minutes. Fnatic really harassing everyone, not allowing anyone to do anything. Adam just, you know, having a bad time, has no ultimate. Oscar is just one level above, does whatever he wants. Boom, Oscar goes super aggressive, but he doesn't care. Like the confidence on this kid when he's playing well is amazing. Oh yeah, and that's the play I was wanting to say. Is that holy shit, Noah? Look at this. He walks up to Blitzcrank, doesn't care, hits the stun immediately, and just sidesteps. He's just dancing. Look at him. He's just dancing. He's like to left to right. Whoop. Up. You miss him. Boom. And Noah walks up to anyone. This guy has no fear. Boom. Crowny. Dead. And Razork almost dies. Nope. Amazing. Amazing buff play. Everything is going well. 7-0, 3 turrets to 2. 4k gold advantage. Oscar getting a little bit cheeky here. That's what I'm saying, is like things like this. Boom. You give a kill, that shouldn't really be happening. It doesn't get traded. And then another mistake on the other side of the map where Razork is like somewhat half HP. You go against Olaf, and there, like, what are you doing, Shuma? Just stay away. Why are you walking into him? Why are you walking into him? You need to you need to stop his ult from happening. That's a triple kill. That is 2 shutdowns for someone who was 0 and 3. He was out of the game, and you've allowed Adam come back into the game. And from that point onward, it becomes very hard. We lose Baron, that goes to them. They start to catch up in gold. You know, the advantage, which be like around 7 to 8k, now has been reduced to like 4, almost 5k. We managed to get Dragon Soul, but again, they get Elder Drake, they get the Baron, they get everything. And it just comes down to one insane team fight. Oh god, look at this. Noah just Houdinis. Whoop, whoop. Incredible. To save the KDA. But I mean, it's just a very good play. Like, if you die here, I think Fnatic might lose the game, because there's a big wave coming in bot lane with super minions. Yeah, I think, is this the final? Yeah. Like, the fact that we managed to win this is incredible. Humanoid pops absolutely off here. Razor gets into the back line. 5v3, and look at that stun from, oh my god, I just have to replay it again. So amazing. Boom. So good. So good. And that's the cleanup, and that's the game. So, you know, in a sense, they, you know, they do well to come back, but the fact that they were put in this position in the first place is a bit of an issue, you know. No, and Trimby and Lane are sus. They died 2v2 versus G2 and almost versus Mad. Well, I mean, 2v2 versus G2, I think they sort of disrespected the Melio range buff and got caught from it. And it's just they play a lot against counter matchups, usually for the support. So, you know, they've been playing versus a lot of Blitzcrank, which doesn't allow Noah to be very aggressive and just, you know, just push the enemy under tower. So he has to, you know, play back a little bit and not get caught with hooks 24/7. So, you know, I think it's absolutely fine if we look at what they're doing overall. You look at Noah, top damage, usually ends up ahead in CS at the end of the game. So the fact that we're still able to have a very good early game while Noah isn't doing crazy, I think it's fine. Not enough to win versus Asian teams. We're not even qualified for Worlds, so Asian teams aren't, like, before thinking about Worlds, let's try to get out of groups first, get to the finals, and have enough points to qualify for Worlds. Asian teams are the least our problems, and I'm gonna keep it a $150 with you, man. We'll think about the Asian teams if we qualify for Worlds. Now let's focus on the LEC and the ADCs of the LEC. Right? Let's take it one at a time. Speaking of which, we have second game against Team Heretics, with again a very strong, engaged / oppressive lineup. A lot of CC, grabs, dive. It's all there. It's all there. It's kill Noah lineup. Interesting Rise, which I think was picked here for to match the wave clear that LeBlanc eventually gets with Static Shiv. So while I don't think we've seen any Rise in a lot of the major regions this season, super gutsy from Humanoid to pick it and try something new instead of just going for Azir or other. Obviously Azir is banned, but we banned the Azir, so potentially we could have picked it or they could have banned it. But other stronger meta picks right now. Oscarnin going for Olaf, which is a very good pick into Cassante, and Noah on his very comfortable Aphelios. Good stuff here, and a bit of the same situation than against what do you call it? Against BDS. Strong early game again. We get the first kill on top lane with Oscar. Good stuff here. It's 3-0. Everyone's popping off Oscar. Just a beast, Oscar. Beast of a player. Sees Evi, who's a level below. He's like, what are you doing? I've already killed you before. What are you trying to do here? I'm going to pop the ulti. Very smart. Sees the Vi coming in. And just boom. Evi griefing it here. Yankos just wants to die. And Oscar 3-0. Very comfortable. Has all he needs to, take over the game and give space to Fnatic. So, we're looking very nice at this stage of the game. Very nice little replay here. You're looking at 4K advantage at 13 minutes, 14 minutes into the game. Massive, massive, massive. Most of the gold is on Oscar, obviously. 3 kills and 30 CS difference on his opponent. So, game should be on the bag at this stage. Shouldn't be too many issues, but we start making mistakes again, roughly in the mid game, where here we try to go for a fight when it's, I guess it's a 4. Wait, where's? No, it's a 3v4. And there's a bit of a miscommunication, I think, here, because you have Oscar without TP, so he can't join the fight anywhere. You have Noah, who's just managing the wave and just wants to make it crash into the mid lane. And you have these 3 guys who want to fight it. When you have an ADC and you have someone who can easily hook you and get completely bashed into the team. So I don't think there's enough firepower here, even with the advantage, when you consider that most of the gold is on Oscar. So if Oscar was here, maybe he presses R, he runs into them, they just can't get rid of him. He gets onto Flackhead, He gets onto Mersa, and then, rest of the team just kind of peels. He gets ulted by Trimby if he needs to. It would be a wash. Here, Jankos does play it real well. Ults Razor when he's trying to ult him. Gets onto the back line, and that's what I'm saying. Mersa jumps over, hooks him over. Boom, boom, boom. He gets battered around. So not only you could lose the Herald gracefully and put pressure on the map like they're doing, but now here you've lost Herald, and you've lost one of your front lines. So that gives free access to the mid lane for Team Heretics, who are 4 strong here. Noah has to back and lose more CS because of that, because if he stays here, he's gonna get dove on. So again, stupid mistake costing us, reducing the gold, giving more map pressure, opening that mid turret, and also getting damage on that tier 2. A bit of an issue. As the game goes on, we managed to trade 1 for 1, but we're kind of losing our feet here. Mersa being cheeky with the hook. But with that said, we managed to sneak a Baron pretty cleanly. Good ult from Razork onto Jankos. Boom, who can't get in range for his ulti. Free Baron. Humanoid ults, they catch Evi out of position. Perfect. Now, what they can do here is press the B button on their keyboard, reset, and catch the wave in the mid lane who's pushed in, catch the wave in the bot lane who's pushed in. Instead, they're like, oh, it's 4v5 guys. Let's greed for tier 2 because the wave is next to them. It's like, oh, we want to take blue and blah blah blah. And so what happens here? The team is completely divided into, you have Oscar, again, one of your strongest member, still has ult up, taking care of the wave, and you have Squishy member 1, Squishy member 2 here, funneled in against people who can ult and CC. You've got Flankage, you've got Mersa, you've got VTO, who are just looking at Noah like he's a buffet. And what happens is that, boom, they get caught. Jankos ults in, point blank, Flankage ults. Noah can't do anything, he's CC'd for 10 years. And we get completely split. So it went from us getting an easy Baron plus a pick to us completely squandering shutdowns, fighting when everybody's dying here, giving VTO so much space and ability to kill everyone. And now there's only a Baron onto one person. And Team Heretics just gained a bunch of shutdown. So that's what I'm saying, is like very silly mistakes. You know, not even 1,000 gold on Baron bonus. Very silly. Just putting ourselves into very complicated situations. Team Heretics managing to, you know, get turrets, gain space. It all comes down to basically who has the better hands at the end of the day. Because that engage was very disgusting. Like, it was super forced. Where was it? Because they don't really have a lot of engage here. Wait, that's the team fight. Okay, here it is. Where Razor just walks up. He's like, well, something has to happen. Dashes on the minion, tries to layer the CC onto Flacket, and then the whole army comes in. And again, it's, you know, it's Oscar who's able to just really run into them, deal a lot of damage because he has the most money. Now, obviously, Noah and Humanoid get the last hits, but you look back into it. Who is it? Like, Noah does like an insane play because he has Guardian Angels. He just dashes in, tries to, you know, DPS as much as possible, but then look at this. Oscar comes in, says hello, presses R, boom, Gets onto Marcel, low HP. Gets onto Evi, low HP. Gets onto Yankos, low HP. Easy cleanup. And from that point on, the game's over. But same stuff, isn't it? Just stupid mistakes being done over and over. They can't defend this. Nice little hammer time. Boom. They just end, clear the turrets. Flackhead and Co can't do anything. Boom. Easy game. So, yeah. It's the same pattern across the two games. And then finally on the SK, we get punished for it. So it's again Milio on the opposing team. We have Yumi, but I think Milio is still the better support between the two. Again, strong engage, backline, and it just gets out of hand very quickly. We're not able to execute. Humanoid has an interesting Xerath in my opinion, which is pretty cool. SK gets the first blood on Razork, who goes a bit too deep into the jungle, and it already there. Usually Razork is the one to make that early game happen, and when he gets basically sort of shut down, it's very hard for Fnatic to perform as well. Good pathing from Razork here again. He does manage to get stuff done, because again in the early game goes through Razork, but where is it where he gets caught in his jungle again? It's like him, and then so here he is. Let me go back a bit some more. So they find Razork here because Certus pushes in the wave. Razork goes back in, and Marcoon basically waits for him. And Oscar can't do anything because he's chunked. Jax is starting to win the matchup here. No flash on Razork. Boom, boom, gets scooped. Shurima shuffle. Humanoid tries to make something happen, but not possible. Oscar in a bad position, but managed to make it out. And it was pretty much SK's game from that point onwards. There's good moments where we managed to bring it back, but if the game wants to load. Hello. I guess not. I will say the disappointing thing here is that Noah plays super well here. 3-0 advantage, and we're not able to play around him. Like a 6-0-1 at one point. We're ahead. Got 3 turrets to 2. We've got slightly 2k advantage. We're gonna start grabbing dragons. Humanoid is doing super well for himself for a bit of a unusual pick, but still, the game should be in the bag. And the fact that we didn't capitalize on Noah's advantage, I think that's a bit of an issue. Like we at this stage with Noah's 2.3 gold advantage, should not be losing. What happens is that Jinx managed to get a lot of shutdown, so that kind of helps her come back into the game, seeing she's a hyper carry ADC. Like Noah gets caught again. I mean, Markin passes super well this game. And boom, shut down. Massive gold injection into the Jinx here. Reduces the gold difference for 1k. Now the problem is that they played better around their Jinx than we did around our Aphelios. But it happens. It happens. We still kept somewhat of an advantage until obviously SK gets the Baron, and just really play the game really well to close in. Very bad TP here from Oscar. It was a very disjointed game overall. Oscar's here when he should be frontlining. Noah can't get his damage in. He's doing his best. Like this was pretty good, but then Noah sort of, I think he miscalculates his damage. Tries to catch Execute, who's a bit out of position, but gets absolutely annihilated by Certus here. Humanoid does super well. Like, he managed to catch a couple of people, ults, and then this Baron play, which was very bad. A bit of a Hail Mary play, but yeah, Noah's in the back line. He's just, what can he do? He has no flash. Boom. Very good Shurima shuffle from Certus, and that's the game. GG's. So yeah, a few things to fix, definitely from Fnatic. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's still a 7-2 second position from Fnatic, which is such a massive improvement from the boys. So I think we can give them a big round of applause from this regular split. Looking forward to group stage, obviously, where we want to see this momentum continuing. Something that we can look forward to is the fact that, as I mentioned, Rel is going to be in, the meta picks, and Trimby has probably one of the better Rels any LEC. And I would suggest, for those of you who are interested of, having a look, go back to Trimby's Rel when he was in Rogue, and see the sort of game-changing engages that he makes. In his performances, I think he has like some more of a 84% win rate on Rel throughout his career, so that's pretty decent. So yeah, I think we'll continue improving. Nightshare is very clear on the team's recent weaknesses, and seeing how well they've been working together, and how the team is doing well in the recent Legend in Action. You can even see like Humanoid being super happy to be part of this team and feeling like, it's one of the best teams he's been part of. It's great to see him with this energy. So, yeah, a lot of positive despite this shaky week 3. Shaves did say that they were already prepping for 13-13 during week 3, so no troubles here. They'll have probably a bit of an advantage on reading the meta. The fact that they were able to lock in group stage after week 2 gives them a massive advantage. So yeah, good stuff from the boys. Very happy of how well they've been performing across the split. Hoping that we go all the way to playoffs. Need as many points as possible if we want to make it to Worlds. And obviously, for those of you who are potentially going to Montpellier, would be nice to see them in that weekend final. So fingers crossed that we continue performing super well. 7-2, well done. No, nothing to be shy about here. Whoop. What's going on here? Nope. There we go. Sorry. Wrong files here. Prediction times, starting with Group A. Now, Group A plays on Sunday. Tomorrow is Group B, which will be the Fnatic group. I think Group A very clear cut, well, more or less, of who's going to make it through. BDS Team Heretics, you guys are big fans of Team Heretics, I'm seeing. Still think BDS is going to be the better team here, especially now that Adam is feeling better. He's back into his groove. I'm expecting them to, be the better team against Team Heretics. Maybe we'll see something different. Maybe you guys are cooking again with Team Heretics, but yeah, there's definitely some strong weak points within Team Heretics that don't allow them to perform as well as they could. G2 versus Koi feels like a strong 2-0. Koi not really doing well right now. Maybe Advian will do better on Engage Champions. We'll see. Maybe it'll be a bit more competitive. The potential finalists, you guys give it to G2 as well. 2-0, I think. Yeah, G2 being strong favorites again really reflects in the predictions, and I think we should potentially see them sort of swipe their group, sweep their group pretty handedly, in my opinion. Going into Group B this time, we are aligned on our predictions, more or less. We're feeling that Mad Lions is going to have that return. These engaged supports are really going to change the rhythm here and allow Mad Lions to take it over XL 2-1. I still think it's going to be a close series. XL have definitely been performing better. Odo Amne having a better resurgence in performance, so that's nice to hear. Fnatic versus SK. Some people are like, why is Fnatic picking SK? Didn't they lose against SK? It's like, yeah, but it's a best of 1 and a best of 3 in different circumstances. Does SK perform as well? Do we make the same mistakes? Maybe not. So expecting a 2-0 from Fnatic. It's a 2-0 to really confirm that level of performance that they've showcased throughout the regular split. And now we want to see another level of Fnatic. Now, the level of Fnatic that's going into the best of 3s, into the best of 5s, that's able to take a series, that's able to control the series from A to Z. So that's going to be the real test for Fnatic here. And we'll see if they're up to it, which I think they will. Winners finals between Fnatic or Mad Lions. Fnatic again. You guys said 2-0. You're really, props to you guys for really feeling the 2-0 for Fnatic. I'm feeling a 2-1. I'm feeling a closer series if they were to face Mad Lions. Because if Mad Lions is performing better and they're starting to getting their best of 3s, best of 5 grooves, I think we're looking at a potentially tighter series. But with that said, if they do a 2-0, I think we're going to be very happy of the level that Fnatic is showcasing and have a lot of hope about Fnatic going into playoffs as one of the strongest contenders. So you guys might be onto something. To close this out, I'm a bit blurry. Will it refocus? Or we'll just end it on the blurry screen. Guys, thank you again for following, listening, showing up, chatting, leaving comments on Twitch and YouTube, or even taking the time to listen to Spotify, which is where I am. If you enjoy the content, if you want to know where I'm going live, follow the accounts on Twitter, @mattscott_ or at IFB Podcast. We've just surpassed 800 followers, so that is amazing. Never expected it to even reach that number. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. It's way more than expected, and I hope we can continue to grow and have fun on a podcast. If you want to catch the VOD, or if you're watching on a VOD inside FNATIC'S Brush on YouTube, there's probably like 3 seasons on there already for you guys who like to listen on public transportation. Or if you're not much of a YouTube person, Spotify, just search for Inside FNATIC'S Brush for the library. Guys, group stage is upon us. Enjoy your weekend. If you're an Apex Legends fan, I believe Fnatic is either playing right now or is going to play in a few minutes, in a few hours. They're doing rather well. They have high chance to qualify on the upper bracket, so go give the Japanese boys your support. They're super nice, they're super sweet, and they're super good. On that note, guys, take care. I'll see you next week for the last part of group stage. Until then, always Fnatic. Bye bye bye.